This is the Chapter 2 introduction. There is no part in the textbook for this section. It's to review the Pythagorean theorem and how to do simple algebra. So we'll go through the slides, and there are a small set of practice questions, and then the next section will be 2.1, introducing you to trigonometry. So the first part you need to remember is how to label a triangle and what all the different sides are. So there will always be a 90-degree angle in this section. Okay, all these rules work because they're 90-degree triangles. If not, you will have to build a 90-degree triangle, but we'll get there as we go through. So if you label each point whatever letters you like, those represent the angles. So the one at C will be 90 degrees. The angle at A could be theta. Angle at B could be psi. Then the side lengths work opposite. So for our angle at B, the side length for B is opposite the angle. The same with C, and the same with A. And as marked below, angles are typically marked with Greek letters. The sides are labeled with lowercase letters, and the same letter should be used for the opposite sides and the opposite angles. So there's your first part, is labeling a triangle. The next part is Pythagoras. You must know where the hypotenuse is at all times in this chapter. Okay, your 90-degree angle will be here. The hypotenuse will always be, I'll back that up and do a proper H. Hypotenuse is always opposite the right angle. You're going to get triangles that look like this, some that are tilted at angles either 180 degrees, 90 degrees, etc. You have to be able to identify where the hypotenuse is, and then be able to solve questions like you did through grade 8 and grade 9 on the Pythagorean theorem. So, first example. For these first ones, A and C are labeled appropriately, but again, you're going to need to remember how to do this as you work through the practice questions. So, using A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Substitute your values in. I know this is a 3, 4, 5 rule, but you need to remember it anyway of how the steps. You're going to square the 3, square the 4, try to make a better plus sign, which equals C squared. Square each one. We get 16, again equals still C squared. 9 plus 16 will be 25. And then your last step, do not divide this by 2. The opposite of squaring a value is to find the square root. So the value of C will be 5 centimeters, and you will always remember to put units because you've done all this before. So that's for the first example. I'll just erase this and then do the second one. Faster than I would hope for. So, second example now. Now you're looking for A. So you're given B, you're given the value for the hypotenuse. Just substitute and solve again. So you're finding A. B will be 5 centimeters. C will be 13 centimeters. And from here, square your values and isolate for A. So 5 squared is 25. 13 squared is 169. This time we're going to subtract 25 from each side. A squared will equal 144. Same as the first example, we'll find the square root. And I ran out of room. So A is equal to 12 centimeters. So that is the Pythagorean examples and review. And then the next step will be solving basic algebra. The first one you always do very well. You need to isolate for x. So to do that, we're going to multiply, choose a different color, both sides by 2 because we're dividing by 2 on the right side of the equal sign. The 2 on the right will cancel, leaving you with 2 times 4 is equal to x. And then lastly, do the multiplication, x is equal to 8. That one is straightforward. You guys typically do that one really well. Has the opportunity for mistakes to be made. So your first step, again, move that value in the denominator to the other side of the equal sign. So we're going to multiply both sides by x, which is your first step here. Then as you simplify both sides, and we're going to go real slow here, and if it's slower than you need, you can skip through some of these. Simplifying both sides makes it look like 5 times x, and then 20 times x over x. Then we will cancel out the x values on the right side, leaving us with 5x is equal to 20. Then we will divide both sides by 5, which cancels the 5 on the left now, and solving for x will equal 4. So that's the introduction to this chapter 2 on trigonometry. There is a handout attached in Google Classroom that has 2 pages of practice questions for you to work through. I highly recommend you do every single one and then check your answers afterwards. And the next step will be tangent ratio.